Thank you. Hi, I'm Lukas. I'm going to talk to you today about how technology is changing tourism activities. And me being a tech guy, I personally know that travel is not the industry adopting tech the fastest. So it's really interesting to see what's happening here in the tourism activity space. It's my pleasure personally to be with you today because we are a Berlin-based company, so for us it's a homecoming event, and it's a pleasure to speak to you today. I'm Lukas, I'm one of the founders of Bookingkit, and quick question, this is not about Bookingkit, but who knows Bookingkit already? Some people do, so for the others, just really quick. We are Europe's #1 infrastructure for tourism activities. So we help suppliers to administrate their business. We help them to market to all different platforms like Get Your Guide, Viator, TripAdvisor, CTS Eventum, and so on. That's our job. We're doing that in 11 languages in Europe. It's a Berlin-based company founded end of 2013. We're around about a bit more than on the slide, 70 people right now, working on changing the way we do tours and activities booking so far. But this is today about how the landscape of tours and activities is changing right now, and this change is happening right now. And as you mentioned, it's the third biggest segment of tourism. Let's look into the different areas of tourism. So the biggest one is flights. The next one is hotels. So the first one, how to get there. The next one, where to stay. And then the third thing is, actually, what are we doing there? What's the thing we are doing when we are leaving the hotel? And when you go to the first two ones, you'll quickly see that they're nearly entirely digitized. So in the flight space, you will have the booking from the end customer throughout the GDS system to the airline in an entirely digital way. With hotels, it goes in the same direction. I have to say there's still some remote islands where we do a mess with booking with hotels, but overall, the entire booking flow, the entire booking process is still really digital. And now we are moving to the third biggest market in tourism, the tourism activities space, the leisure space. And it's a mess. Less than 1/5 of suppliers are available online. And if they are, they have been moved online in a lot of ways by all the demand-side channels. So they have been moved online by the Get Your Guides, by the TripAdvisors, Viators of this world, but they are not working in a digital way. So it's a mess. And we believe there's two problems in that market. The one problem being on the supply side. So the supplier himself, he is working really analog. A bit like hotels 30 years back. They're working heavily paper and pencil driven on a legacy software system, so it's catastrophic. And on the other hand, if you're looking to sell tourism activities, if you're looking to distribute tourism activities, there's no central GDS to connect to. So if you look at hotels and flights, this has been achieved by Amadeus in the flight space, by partners like Hotelbeds in the hotel space. But for tours and activities, there's nothing. And if you like, for example, think of Airbnb moving in that space, you have to connect to all the suppliers one by one and generate their inventory. So this is not only the third biggest market in tourism, but Focusrite says it's $129 billion transferred there each year, but it's also the fastest growing market in tourism. No other segment in tourism is growing that fast. Focusrite says this is going to be $200 billion annually by 2020. To give you some impressions, that's about 3 times the entire car rental market. And there's more than 1 million suppliers working that way. There's over 1 million suppliers, the guys actually doing tours and activities working like that. So the market is heating up. As we talked about tours and activities in the last year, there happened a lot of change there, and investments are growing, especially from demand-side platforms. I've brought you a couple of highlight deals from 2017. So some of them you may know. Marriott, one of the world's leading hotel chains, investing in a platform for tours and activities, so actively looking to sell third-party content for tours and activities. Then Royal Caribbean, the largest cruise ship company of the world, not only selling their own tours and activities anymore, but also looking to resell third-party tours and activities. And then I think the third thing you all saw, there was the recent filings from Airbnb as well, to say Airbnb is not only about accommodations anymore, but it's about the entire trip experience. So it's about how people can do their entire 12 things. So this was one of the main news of 2017. But now we talked so much about distribution, and we are seeing that there's a lot of focus on how to distribute, how to do with tours and activities, how to sell tours and activities. And before we talk so much about the potentials there, maybe let's have a look at the characteristics of the supplier. So the actual guy doing tours and activities. And I'll walk you through a bit of these details, and at the end we have also some time for a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them. So, 5 things. Tour and activity operators love what they do. This sounds a bit like, okay, hey, what he is telling me. But I don't know, who of you does skiing or snowboarding? Wow, that's smart. Winter sports. Imagine your ski or snowboard teacher. These are the guys driving tours and activities. And they do it because they love what they do. They're heavily in love with their product. These are product guys. These are not sales guys. These are guys loving their product. And most of the time, they made their hobby to their profession. So staying with the ski guy, a lot of these guys, they went there, they skied all day, and I can understand it, I love it. But one day they figure out, well, I can't pay my rent with just skiing. What they do is, they start giving ski courses. And they give ski courses and they make it a profession. And then they make it, that's running quite well, that's working quite well, they hire their friends, then it becomes a ski school, and suddenly they're the #1 ski school in their area. That's how 90% of the tours and activity market works. People who made their hobby to their profession, who really want to give the product, to give the tour and activity to their customers. And coming from that, obviously, they care about their customers. They're passing on their hobby, they're passing on the thing they love to their customers. So they care more than anyone else about a great customer experience. And staying with the ski teacher, or if you don't ski, you can think of a Segway guy, think of someone doing city tours, showing you around here in Berlin, offering on a helicopter, on a Segway, whatever. They're there because they want to be skiing. They're there because they want to give you the tour of your life. They want to show you the Berlin they love, staying at the Berlin example. So they care about doing their job. And they're not the guys you would imagine sitting in front of their computer, standing up in the morning and saying, hey, today is about how I can improve my booking workflow or how I can improve my workflow. So surprisingly, they also want to have more customers. They want to pass on their passion, and they want to do more revenues. They want to pass on that passion to more different customers. So also they want to have more of them. But, sorry, but they hate the administration. Think about that ski teacher, and think about he does his tax returns. He loves it. These are guys who want to be out in the field. These are guys who love their product, and that's what they want to do. And they hate to sit in front of their computers to do the administration thing, and that gives you a bit of a persona of the guys doing tours and activities. And again, that's 90% of the market. 19% of suppliers and tours and activities who are doing their business like that, coming from a product-driven approach, making a business out of that, including the larger ones, including top-tier attractions. Think of, if you're from Germany, Miniatur Wunderland, Hamburg's #1 attraction. Three brothers started to do this, became Hamburg's #1 attraction. This is how tours and activities looks like. So, having understood a bit the status quo and the persona of the tours and activities operator, let's have a look how technology is involving their current situation, how technology is currently in their workplace. And you all know the portals, so you know MyDays, Jochen Schweizer, Smartbox would be the European ones, Get Your Guide, and there's many more. You all know them. And then you have the poor supplier. He's sitting here, and he's getting his management done via paper and pencil, via emails he copies to his manual analog agenda, or if he's really smart, he's using Excel. That's how you do bookings in 2018. And then you have all different channels throughout his sales, his tours and activities. So he sells on his own website. Direct bookings still around about 70%. He takes them on the phone. He gets walk-ins. And he does accept the different channels, Get Your Guide, Via Tour, and so on. And he consolidates them. Pretty easy thing to do. Think of the ski teacher. Then he has all these connections, and there's more connections. Welcome back in 1950. This is actually how flight booking worked into 1950. This is pre-Amadeus, pre-Sabre. This is how flight bookings worked. Your travel agency called the call center, they fill it out on paper, and they have a really sophisticated system to handle the paper and pencil, and then this thing walls, it's perfect. Best process there is. So we are laughing because this is 1915, but in the third biggest segment of tourism, it's still 1915. In 2018, they're driving with paper and pencil. To give you some impression, we ask suppliers, together with a marketing channel, we ask suppliers, how do you do your administration? You see these numbers, you see 73% of suppliers responded, I'm driving my administration with paper and pencil. What a mess. Now you're saying, okay, there are smart ones. Yeah, some ones are using Excel. Top 2 mentioned was Outlook. When did you start managing your business with Outlook? So we are talking about not only long-tail suppliers, we are talking about suppliers with sometimes 15 to 80 people. They're managing their entire business on paper and pencil, Outlook, and so on. And then 16% mentioned software in terms of specialized software. So 16% of suppliers are actually using professional software. Think of that in hotel space, think of that in the flight space. What's changing there? We are seeing 4 trends in the tourism activities market. And these 4 trends are basically end customers are coming of age. What does that mean? Well, all of us here together, we are doing tourism activities. And we are putting pressure on the supplier. Because we, as end customers, we get more digital. You're all having your smartphone, you're all having your iPhone, your mobile device, and you want to book on this. And then you're approaching the supplier and said, here's my my barcode. Why can't I redeem this with you? So we are all putting pressure on these suppliers because they're like, okay, I'm doing my ski school and you can just call me, and we are not, well, I don't want to call you. The market is becoming more transparent. So if you have time, it's ITB, but if you're staying on Saturday, you want to do some tour throughout Berlin, you just type on Google City Tour Berlin, and it will pop out a result of different types of providers, their prices, their availabilities. So the market becomes more and more transparent, and that's the problem because before, imagine your hotel, most of tours and activities booking still works with the flyers on the hotels. So when you're in the lobby of your hotels, you have a large rack of flyers, and there's just one Segway guy, so probably you're taking him. No transparency, no price transparency, you're taking the 4 p.m. slot he has to the price he has. And there is a problem arising because it gets more and more transparent. And we get used to book online. We as end customer, we expect to book online. Because honestly, I booked my flight online, I booked my hotel online, and now you're telling me that I have to call you, I have to fill out a manual reservation form, I have to stand in line to get your ticket? Really? And again, you have to keep in mind, leisure bookings are happening at leisure times. So they are most likely happening when the guy is not in the office, when he is not reachable. Let's show me, so it gets more and more complex. The poor supplier, and again, staying with the persona you've been seeing before, the ski teacher, he's faced with more and more complexity he needs to run his business on. And to give you some impression of that, that's the shift to online payments. So on the Bookingkit platform, we have the same price for pay online and pay at the location. There's no price discrimination. You can choose freely. And despite that, people, the majority of people, are putting their money up front in there to get a confirmed booking, to get a confirmed reservation. We expect to pay online. We want to pay online. We want to go online. And that's a bit of a no-brainer, I think, for all of us, but mobile is eating the world, and obviously, think of when we would be booking tours and activities. It's us standing on our smartphone at the Starbucks, at the local coffee shop, and we figure out what to do. So basically what's happening here, and in 2017 we had more bookings on mobile than on any other device. Obviously, this shift is a lot faster in tours and activities than it is to be seen in other spaces. Number 2, experience platforms change. If you're a bit familiar with the German-speaking or European market, you'll be seeing that all the large-style voucher businesses, thinking of the German ones, Jochen Schweizer, My Days, thinking of the European ones, Smartbox, for example, they are moving more and more to direct ticket sales. Because I'm expecting to also buy the ticket directly, being able to also buy the ticket directly. The market is consolidating. We have been seeing the deal My Days, Jochen Schweizer moving together. So former competitors moving together, forming alliances, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of that in 2018. And we see an interesting thing we know from e-commerce. Platforms start to offer their own experiences. They're seeing space in their own catalog. They're having problems to get supply for that kind of businesses, and they start to do their own experiences. We've seen that with Get Your Guide, we've seen that with My Days here in Berlin, that they're starting to become suppliers on their own. Third thing, the supply side is getting more professional. So we talked about the numbers and we saw a bit, okay, what's happening here. I told you 90% of the guys are pretty product-centric, so coming out from a product-driven view, building the ski school of their own. So think of the ski school teacher again. He starts his business, starts to do it because he loves ski. He never thought about margins, about booking structures. That's not his core business. But what we are seeing more and more is what we call a Disneyfication. So a professionalization of the suppliers. So more and more professional people are coming into the site and also making the field harder for the different suppliers there are. We're seeing more professional online marketing. I explained to you that about 70% of the bookings from suppliers are still direct bookings. Walk-ins, online, self-driven, direct bookings on their own website, calls. So they're getting more and more professional to use these online marketing possibilities on their own. And luckily for us, they're more and more eager to adopt professional booking software, not going with Outlook anymore. I'm giving you some examples of the online marketing space. I'm sure you're a bit familiar with that, but it's really funny. So you have some local suppliers, local tour and activity suppliers. Here an example, and you have the direct Google rich text snippets, so they can directly push availabilities, direct bookings through in the Google search results. So basically, you're cutting off at least 3-4 clicks of going to the website and going on there on. So that's what's happening there, where Google does a great job. You're seeing the Google Trips product as well. And you may know that, but on Facebook, the platform we all love and we use in between, is that you can now also expand through geo-targeting. So basically you can be saying, I want to target people being in Berlin, which is a great thing for suppliers, because if I'm offering helicopter rides across Berlin, I want to target you all. And I don't want to target where you come from, but where your destination is. So this is something important for tours and activities suppliers, but for the entire travel scene. And the product tours and activities is more and more coming to TMDOs and to travel agencies. What's happening there is that travel agencies need to differentiate. travel agencies have done a great job of consulting their people, their customers, doing a consulting sales approach. But they face more and more challenges by selling the same products you could buy on Skyscanner, the same products you could buy on Expedia. And people do ROPO. They research offline, they purchase online. So they're having real trouble of differentiating within this field. So what they are looking for is reasons or possibilities to differentiate. And in order to do so, they are looking to ramp up tours and activities products as well within the agencies. Because the pitch then is far better to say, well, I can sell you the core experience to France, including the flight, including a hotel, and including this very special boat ride I sold to another couple last week, which is really something which makes it special on the consulting sales approach. And on the other hand, it makes it less transparent to see I can not just dive in and have the same price online, because not many people are having the same package in one package price. And we are seeing more and more DMOs who have been eager to drive hotels, so their local hotels, to digitize them, to now also move into the field to say, okay, we are working together with our local tours and activities products, with our local attractions products, but we want them to be more digital. We want them to be able to sell online. We do want people to purchase the tickets upfront as well. So we are really, really happy to see that as of today on the ITB, we'll be announcing our partnership together with Amadeus, and we'll be bringing all tours and activities products available on Bookingkit, on the Bookingkit infrastructure, to Amadeus, through the Amadeus system, to all the travel agencies who use Amadeus. And this is actually a great step for us, because we believe strongly and heavily in travel agencies, and we want them to be able to sell these kind of products, and we're really happy to be working here together with Amadeus, who, by the way, did a great job at digitizing the flight space. So let's go into the tours and activities space together. So that's a bit of an overview from our side, what to expect in 2018, what's currently moving here. So again, the pressure comes from all of us, from us as customers for tours and activities. We are coming of age and we are having higher experiences. Experience platforms, so distributors change. They consolidate, they move into direct booking sales, and they are more and more eager to change their model to be better and more relevant for the end customer. The suppliers are professionalizing, not only by distributors becoming own suppliers, but also by a kind of Disneyification, where you have more professional suppliers moving into the space, and by that having a higher competition level to say, okay, I have to boost my online bookings, my direct bookings on my own, moving in that field as well. And we are seeing that travel agencies and DMOs are looking more and more to get tours and activities more digital, to bring these products in a digital way to the digital distribution. Thank you.